Cardinal,
Cardinal, we are to part from you, and your own discretion must now be your director.
You are a widow. You know already what a man is, and therefore let not youth, height, promotion, ill of kins.
No, nor anything without the addition, honor sway your high blood.
Mary, they are not luxurious, will wed twice.
Oh, fie.
Their livers are more spotted than Laban's sheep.
diamonds are of most value, they say, that have passed through most jewelers' hands.
Poor spider rule of precious. Poor
Will you
spider
hear
rule
me?
of precious.
Will you hear me? I'll never marry.
So most widows say, but commonly that motion lasts no longer than the turning of an hourglass, the funeral sermon, and it ends both together.
Now hear me. You live in a rank posture. You live in a rank posture. Here I, the court.
Here
There is
in
a
the
kind
court.
of honeydew.
Here in the court.
Okay, here in the court. Now hear me. You live in a rank posture. Here in the court. There's a kind of honeydew that's deadly. It will poison your fame. Look to it. Be not cunning, for they whose faces do belly their hearts are
Belie.
witches, belie their hearts, are witches they arrive with 20 years. What's this?
I, and give the devil suck.
I, I, and give the devil suck.
This is terrible good counsel.
Hypocrisy is woven on a fine small thread, subtler than Vulcan's engine. Yet believe it, your darkest actions, nay, your private thoughts will come to light.
You may flatter yourself and take your own choice, privately be married under the eaves of night.
Think the best way.
Think it,
Wait,
deep.
wait.
Think it.
Think the best way. Think. Okay, it's it.
Think
Think
it the
it the
best
best
voyage
ways that
that
ever you
ever you
made,
made.
like the irregular crab. Think it the best ways that ever you made, like the irregular crab, which thought goes backward, thinks it goes
Which,
right because
though
it goes
it
its own
goes
way. But
backward,
observe,
which, though it goes backward, thinks that it goes right.
because it goes its own way. But observe, such weddings may more properly be said to be executed than celebrated.
The marriage night is the entrance into some prison.
And those joys, those lustful pleasures, are like heavy sleeps, which do forerun man's mischief.
Fare you well. Wisdom begins at the end. Remember it.
Cardinal exits. I think this speech between you both was studied. It came so roundly off.
You are my sister. This was my father's boneyard. Do you see? I'd love to see it like lusty, cause it was his. Would have you give over these chargeable reveals, a visor and a mask of whispering rooms that were never built for goodness, fare ye well, and variety of scholarship. What cannot a neat knave with a smooth tail make a woman believe? Farewell, lusty widow. Exit.
He exits, and Duchess and Cariola are left. Samya, you will play Cariola. Cariola is the woman who looks after the Duchess. Shall this move me? If all my royal kindred lay in my way unto this marriage, I would make them my low footsteps. And even now, even in this hate, as men in some great battles by apprehending danger have achieved almost impossible actions. I've heard soldiers say so. So I, through frights and threatenings, will essay this dangerous venture. Let old wives report I winked and chose a husband. Cariola, to thy known secrecy I have given up more than my life, my fame.
Both shall be safe, for I will conceal this secret from the world, as verily as those that trade in poison keep poison from their children.
Thy protestation is ingenious and hearty, I believe it. Is Antonio come?
He attends you.
Good dear soul, leave me, but place thyself behind the arras, where thou mayest overhear us. Wish me good speed, for I am going into a wilderness where I shall find no path nor friendly clue to be my guide. Carolia goes behind the arras, enters Antonio. Continue playing Antonio. I sent for you. Sit down, take pen and ink and write. Are you ready?
Yes,
What did I say?
that I should write somewhat.
Oh, I remember. After these triumphs and this large expense, it's fit, like thrifty husbands, we inquire what's laid up for tomorrow.
So please, your beauteous excellence,
Beauteous? Indeed, I thank you. I look young for your sake. You have taken my cares upon you.
I will fetch your grace the particulars of your revenue and expense.
Oh, you are an upright treasurer, but you mistook, for when I said I meant to make inquiry what is laid up for tomorrow, I didn't mean what's laid up yonder for me.
Where?
In heaven, I am making my will, as its fit princes should in perfect memory, and I pray, sir, tell me, were not one better make it smiling thus than in deep groans and terrible ghastly looks, as if the gifts were parted with procured that violent distraction?
Oh, much better.
If I had a husband now, this care were quit. But I intend to make you overseer. What good deal shall we first remember say?
Begin with that first good deed, begin in the world, after begin with the first good deed, begin in the world after man's creation, the sacrament of marriage. I would have you first provide for a good husband. Give him all.
All
Yes, your excellent self.
in a winding sheet?
In a couple,
Saint Winifred, that were a strange will.
towards, toward stranger, if there were no will in you to marry again.
What do you think of marriage?
I take it as those that deny purgatory. It locally contains or heaven or hell. There's no third place in it.
How do you affect it?
I lost it. My banishment, feeding my melancholy, would often reason thus.
Pray, let's hear it. So what she says here is that तुम ऐसी बातें कैसे कर पाते हो? How do you affect it? How can you say it? How can you have those affect? How can you show that what you are showing, or how can you say what you are saying? He says, my banishment when I was away, when I was banished to France, this is where I fed my melancholy. I was sad, and I fed my melancholy with that knowledge that I learned from that new land. And I would often reason thus. This is what I reasoned out in my own melancholy and banishment. And then she says, I would love to hear more from you. What did you learn there? Continue, Antonio.
Say a, m- say a man never marry nor have children. What takes that from him? Only the bare name of being a father, or the weak delight to see the little wanton ride a cock horse upon a painted stick, or hear him chatter like a taught starling.
Fie, what's all this? One of your eyes is bloodshot. Use my ring to it. They say, is very sovereign. It was my wedding ring, and I did vow never to part with it but to my second husband.
You have parted it with now.
Yes, to help your eyesight.
You have made me blind.
Did you read it?
Yes, ma'am.
फिर से पढ़ो.
You have made me stark blind.
How?
There's a saucy and ambitious devil is dancing in this circle.
Remove him.
How?
They need small conjuration when your fingers may do it. Thus, is it fit? She puts the ring upon his finger, and he kneels.
What? What said you?
Sir, this goodly roof of yours is too low built. I cannot stand upright in it nor discourse without I raise it higher. Raise yourself, or if you please, my hand to help you. So raises him.
Ambition, madam, is a great man's madness that's not kept in chains and close pent rooms, but in fair lightsome lodgings, and is girt with the wild noise of rattling visitants, which makes it lunatic beyond all cure. Conceive not I'm so stupid, but I am where to your favors tend. But he's a fool that, being a cold, would thrust his hands in the fire to warm them.
So now the ground is broke. You may discover what a wealthy mine I make you lord of.
Oh, my unworthiness.
You were ill to sell yourself. This darkening of your worth is not like that which tradesmen use in the city. Their false lights are to rid bad wares off, and I must tell you, if you will, if you will know where breathes a complete man, I speak it without flattery. Turn your eyes and progress through yourself.
Were there no heaven nor hell, I should be honest. I have long served virtue and never
Take
taken wages of her.
now she pays it. The misery of us that are born great, we are forced to woo, because none dare woo us. And as a tyrant doubles with his words, and fearfully equivocates, so we are forced to express our violent passions in riddles and in dreams, and leave the path of simple virtue, which was never made to seem the thing it's not. Go, go grab, you have left me heartless. Mine is in your bosom. I hope it will multiply love there. You do tremble. Make not your heart so dead a piece of flesh, to fear more than to love me. Sir, be confident. What is it distracts you? This is flesh and body, sir. This not figure cut in alabaster. Kneels at my husband's tomb. Awake, awake, man. I do here put off all vain ceremony, and only do appear to you a young widow that claims you for her husband, and like a widow I use but half a blush in it.
Truth, truth speak for me. I will remain the constant sanctuary of your good name.
I thank you, gentle love, and cause you shall not come to me in debt, being now my steward, here upon your lips. I sign your coitus est. This you should have begged now. I have seen children oft eat sweet meats thus, as fearful to devour them too soon.
But for your brothers,
Do not think of them all discord without this circumference is only to be pitied and not feared. Yet, should they know it, time will easily scatter the tempest.
these words should be mine, and all the parts you have spoke, if some part of it would not have severed flattery.
Kneel. Cariola comes from behind the arrows.
Ha,
Be not
ha.
amazed. This woman is my counsel. I have heard lawyers say a contract in a chamber, peed verba di presenti, is absolute marriage. She and Antonio kneel. Bless heaven this sacred guardian, which guardian, this sacred guardian which let violence never untwine.
And may our sweet affections like the spheres be still in motion.
Quickening and make the like soft music.
that we may imitate the loving palms, but best emblem of a peaceful marriage that never bore fruit divided.
What can the church force more?
That that fortune may not know an accident, either of joy or sorrow, to divide our fixed wishes.
How can the church build faster? We now are man and wife, and 'tis the church that must but echo this. Maid, stand apart. I now am blind.
What's your conceit in this?
I would have you lead your fortune by the hand unto your marriage bed. You speak in me bliss, for we now are one. We'll only lie and talk together and plot to appease my humors kindred, and if you please, like the old tale in Alexander and Lodowick, lay a naked sword between us, keep us chaste. Oh, let me shroud my blushes in your bosom, since 'tis the treasury of all my secrets. Exeunt touches and entwine.
Whether the spirit of greatness or of woman reign most in her, I know not, but it shows a fearful madness. I owe her much of pity. Exit.
So, did any of this make sense to you? Anything? We'll begin afresh, but could you make sense of anything? Anything that you know of? Summarize what you got to know one by one.
Ma'am, you act beautifully.
Sorry?
You act beautifully. आपकी हर बात समझ आ जाती है. Whatever you read, it gets like image बन जाती है.
मैं तो ड्रामा आर्टिस्ट हूँ, आपको नहीं पता. मुझे बस नाटक आते हैं.
Wow, it's
और ये
it's beautiful.
नाटक
Like
बार बार.
every like जो डायलॉग आपने बोला ना वो समझ आ गया अच्छे से. Your
मैं प्यार
emotion,
में
your
थी,
action,
सामिया नहीं
perfect.
थी. मैं प्यार में थी, सामिया वो भी नहीं हुआ था. तो सीन 3.
कभी कभी मुझे लगा शायद खत्म हो गया. आप सामने से डायरेक्टली बात कर रही हैं शायद.
ऐसे नहीं पढ़ेंगे तो समझ नहीं आएगा, लेकिन आपके में इट विल रिक्वायर 2 रीडिंग्स, क्योंकि आप लोगों को पहले नहीं मालूम होता, इसलिए मैं आपको पहले बता के रखती हूँ कि इतना पढ़ के आना, फिर डायलॉग्स शेयर करते हैं.
हमें तो ये आई का इन हो जाता है. इट वो पढ़ना नहीं आगे है ना, तो ये हमें पढ़ना ही नहीं आता है.
और फिर समझे या बोले, आपको भी उसमें टाइम लगता है. कोई बात नहीं, ये धीरे धीरे हो जाता है, क्योंकि अब मैंने कई बार पढ़ा होगा. पूरा टेक्स्ट याद नहीं रहता, लेकिन फिर भी एक बार अपने टाइम पढ़ा होगा, उसके बाद मैंने एक बार पढ़ाया है आईयूएसटी में, और अभी थर्ड टाइम की रीडिंग हो रही है. सो आई आई वांट दिस पार्ट टू बी प्लेड अगेन बिटवीन फर्डिनेंड एंड कार्डिनल, क्योंकि वहां भी बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो डचेस से बोलने में वो दो लोग बोलते हैं, तो उस डायलॉग में वो समझ आ जाना चाहिए. Samya and I'll play it again. Cardinal and Ferdinand. Now you know what kind of a character Cardinal is. आपको पता है वो he keeps his space away, लेकिन असली बुराई की मशीनरी जो है वो कार्डिनल है, और फर्डिनेंड को आगे रखता है बात करने के लिए, माउथ पीस. तो you will play Cardinal, Samya, and I'll play Ferdinand. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Begin.
We are to part from you. We are to part from you, and your own discretion must now be your director.
तो पहली बात जो है, आपको गुस्सा रखना है अपने अंदर. आप लोगों को दोनों को शक है ये शादी करेगी, एंड ये उसे यही बोल रहे हैं कि तुम्हें क्यों नहीं करनी चाहिए. थोड़ा नॉलेज दे रहे हैं और थोड़ा अपना गुस्सा भी निकाल रहे हैं. ठीक है, वैसे पढ़ो.
जी.
फिर से पढ़ो.
We are to part from you, and your own discretion must now be your director.
Excellent. You are a widow. You know already what man is, and therefore let not youth, high promotion, eloquence,
No, nor anything without the addition. Honor, sway your high blood.
marry. They are most luxurious, will wed twice.
Oh, fie,
Their livers are more spotted than Laban's sheep.
Duchess.
Samya, yeah, sorry, Maruk.
To most wearers' hands.
Whores by that rule are precious.
I will never, will your he'll never marry.
So most widows say. But commonly that motion lasts no longer than the turning of an hourglass, the funeral sermon and it end both together.
Now hear me. You live in a rank posture, here in the court. There's a kind of honeydew that is deadly. It will poison your fame. Look to it. Be not cunning. For they whose face do belie their hearts are witches ere they arrive at 20 years. Aye, and give the devil suck.
This is terrible good counsel.
Hypocrisy is woven of a fine small thread, subtler than Vulcan's engine. Yet believe it, your darkest actions, nay, your privatest thoughts will come to light.
You may flatter yourself. You may flatter yourself and take your own choice. Privately be married under the eaves of night.
Think the best voyage that ever you meet, like the irregular crab, which though it goes backwards thinks that it goes right because it goes its own way. But observe, such weddings may more properly be said to be executed than celebrated.
The marriage night is the entrance into some prison.
And joys, those lustful pleasures, are like heavy sleep which do foreign man's mischief.
Fare you well. Wisdom begins at the end. Remember it.
I think this between you it came so roundly off.
You are my sister. This was my father's poniard, do you see? I would be loath to see it look rusty, 'cause it was his. I will have you give over these chargeable revels. A visor and a mask are whispering rooms that were never built for goodness. Fare you well. And women like variety of courtship. What cannot a neat knave with a smooth tail make a woman believe? Farewell, lusty widow. So, what you see here
Shall
is
this,
that the anger, yeah,
should I read this?
no, no, that's the end.
Okay.
So ये हमने किया हम यहाँ से ही हमने किया था मार्क उसमें हमें नहीं मिला।
Hmm.
तो जो यहाँ पे आप वो गुस्सा देखते हो कार्डिनल और इसमें the difference between what cardinal is saying is that cardinal is simply conveying he should not see her married. That's it. And he is very precise in what he wants to convey. So I'll only pick up the dialogue said by cardinal and then we'll compare what kind of characters these two are. Only picking up cardinal's dialogue. Look at him. He's very brief, conveys his message, and he's done. But then we'll compare him with what Ferdinand has to say. Cardinal says just a few things. One, we are to part from you. We'll not be your brothers anymore. And your own discretion, your own wishes, you can go by them, must now be your director. They'll tell you which course to take. They will direct you. They will show you your way. Your wishes, your whims will take you to where you want to be. Cardinal, when Ferdinand begins that she should not use her youth, her promotion, her eloquence, Cardinal adds, not even with anything that she has to add, her honor or anything, sway her high blood. She should not sway her high blood. She is born of high blood. She should not mix with low blood. And she should not do something that will bring a bad name to their blood. So he is only a man of words. He is himself playing with the devil, playing the devil himself, but that doesn't do anything to his honor, to his blood. But if anything is done by this female, then everything goes wrong. Again, Cardinal says, "Oh, fine, not much," but only after Ferdinand says, "Mary, there are most Mary means by Mary, means I swear upon Mary. Mary, they are most luxurious will wed twice. They are most luxurious. Will wed twice means he basically Ferdinand and Cardinal want to say that they don't want her to marry because they don't want her property to be to go to her husband. This is what would happen in their time. She is a duchess, means she now has the property of a duke. She's a duchess and she has the property of a duke. Do you know what the rank of a duke is? When we did history, we did kings, right? And when king is alive, what are his sons doing?
Dukes होते हैं different जगहों के.
Yes. So these small kingdoms are held by dukes, which means she is basically married to a prince. So she has a lot of luxury in her time. But if she marries twice, as per Ferdinand, they are most luxurious will wed twice. People who are very, very luxurious are the only ones who take this chance of marrying twice. And you cannot. Because Ferdinand and Cardinal want that her money should remain with the brothers. Ferdinand, the
एक और
livers,
चीज.
sorry,
एक और चीज यहाँ पे annotations पे लिख के luxurious को letters. तो उसका मतलब नहीं हो सकता है कि मतलब they don't want her to marry twice because they think marrying twice is गलत, मतलब इसके लिए, क्योंकि basically इनको पैसा ही चाहिए, लेकिन उस वजह से भी.
even the text I had previously had the word lecherous in it. They are most lecherous will wed twice, and this is reiterated by the other brother that if you do, you are a lusty widow. Lusty widow is used by Ferdinand. That women marrying twice are very lecherous. Oh, fine, Cardinal. Their livers are more spotted than Laban's sheep. What is Laban's sheep? Laban comes from? No? Biblical Laban.
इब्राहिम अलैहिस्सलाम को जो मिला था वही.
Read. And then his sheep. आप में किसी की बुक में है? मेरी बुक में है।
हम यहाँ पर लिख कर है जेनेसिस और फिर नंबर्स, उसके बाद लिखे बट द फ्रेज probably comes from Whetstone's Heptameron, a company as spotted as Laban's sheep.
कंपनी?
A company as spotted as Laban's sheep.
Okay. Now, yes, we also believe in a tradition, but not all the details are associated very close. uh, the tradition is the same because Abrahamic religions है और ये पुरानी Abrahamic जो tales हैं वो काफ़ी coincide होती हैं Islamic interpretation, Judaism में और Christianity में. So this Laban's sheep, basically the liver is the point, not his sheep. So he is the biblical sheep, but the spotted liver is associated with the biles, right? So these spotted biles would mean basically,
वो वाली वाइल्स ना, जहाँ पर जो ना बेन जॉनसन ने किया,
that biles
हाँ
goes with the lecherous.
वही है।
Their livers are
हाँ
more spotted than Laban's sheep. Duchess argues that if a widow marries and remarries, it's not that she loses her value, honor, blood, but instead she is of the opinion, a feminist dialogue this can be said to be, that diamonds are of most value, they say, that have passed through most jewelers' hands, which means जितना पुराना डायमंड उतना उसका वैल्यू ज़्यादा होता है, ऐसा जूलर्स बोलते हैं. जितने हैंड्स से वो पास हुआ होगा उतना उसका वैल्यू ज़्यादा होता है. और फर्डिनेंड इसके डायलॉग में बोलता है, बाय दैट रूल होर्स आर मोस्ट प्रेशियस इन द वर्ल्ड because they pass through most hands. Will you hear me? I'll never marry. And then she gets angry and says, she agrees that her logic did not work. And then she says, okay, do you hear me? I will never marry. But they have some hint that she is going to marry. Look at what Conan has to say. So most widows say. जो तुम बोल रही हो वो तो mostly widows do say that. So most widows say. But commonly that motion lasts no longer than the turning of an hourglass. Means it's very quick. इस तरफ funeral हो जाता है, इस तरफ this is what you do. This is something we also have read already in The Wife of Bath's Tale. The Wife of Bath's Tale by Chaucer. Chaucer says the wife of Bath, when it was the fourth funeral of her husband, she herself says that the funeral ended in this way, and the other moment I married my fifth husband. And here he reiterates the same. Ferdinand says, now hear me, you live in a rank pasture, which means we have given you a pasture to live in, but you are living in an enclosed place. That here in the court, this is the only place you can live in. There is a kind of a honeydew. Honeydew means a poisonous vial. There's a kind of a honeydew that's deadly. It will poison your fame. Look to it. In this rank pasture, rank also means cancerous pasture. So there's some honeydew in it that if you are poisoned, your fame will be poisoned. Be not cunning. Do not try to be cunning. For those whose faces do belie, जिनके चेहरे झूठ बोलते हैं. Faces do belie means the faces that show innocence are generally the ones whose hearts are witches. Ere they arrive at 20 years, eye and give the devil suck. So it's even before they are 20 years old, which means their faces show that they are very innocent. But that's not what they actually are. Before that time, their hearts have already turned to be witches, and ultimately they give the devil suck. Which means they turn into women who can suck a devil. Duchess says this is a terrible good counsel. Enough of it. You guys can now leave. Ferdinand, hypocrisy is woman of a fine small thread, subtler than Vulcan's engine. Again, Vulcan, the character comes from Vulcan.
वीनस एंड मार्स, जो वल्कन है
हाँ.
वो एक फाइन थ्रेड यूज करता है जो फिर कैच करता है वीनस और मार्स को ड्यूरिंग अडल्ट.
Right. And finally, the net in which he caught Venus and Mars. He throws a
Hmm.
net. Hypocrisy is woman of a small, fine thread, subtler than Vulcan's engine. Engine is the tool he uses to catch them. And you are trying to work your hypocrisy against us and try to trap us into it. Yet, believe it, your darkest actions don't even talk about actions, but even your privatest thoughts will come to light. We will get to know not just about your actions, but think of it. Even your privatest thoughts is something we know of. अंधेरे में भी कुछ सोचोगे वो भी हमें पता चलेगा. Cardinal, you may flatter yourself and take your own choice, privately be married under the eaves of night, and he is again. They're not allowing each other to talk before one finishes, the other begins. And this very exact uh, dramatic motion of the dialogue between the two brothers shows their anger. ऊपर एक को दूसरे ने बोलने नहीं दिया, नीचे दूसरे को दूसरा बोलने नहीं दे रहा. Look at these lines here. Ferdinand begins. And therefore, let not your youth, high promotion, eloquence, no, not anything without the addition, honor, swear your high blood. Okay, here, Colonel interrupts Ferdinand. And now in this part, Ferdinand interrupts Colonel. This shows their anger. They desperately want her to stop from doing that. And you may flatter yourself. You may think that you have achieved something when you go by your choices and privately be married under the eaves of night, which she actually does. So they basically actually know about her privatest thoughts. Think it the best voyage that ever you made, like the irregular crab. If you think this is the best thing, you flatter yourself this is what you could do under our nose, but think properly that it is the irregular crab. जो चलता उल्टा है लेकिन उसे लगता है वो सीधे चल रहा है. But observe, such weddings may more properly be said to be executed than celebrated. You don't call that a celebration of marriage, you call it an execution of marriage. And that is what she actually does in the room. So before her privatest thoughts, the two brothers already know it. It's an execution of marriage. It's not a celebration of marriage. And the word will continue to figure in the whole text. Murder, execution will keep on coming in the text, and this is what makes the text to be categorized as theater or into the theater of cruelty. The marriage night is the entrance into some prison, and her marriage night becomes basically the prison for her night and a prison for her life. And those joys, those lustful pleasures are like heavy sleeps which do forerun man's mischief. So before a man is about to enter into some mischief or fall trap of mischief, he falls heavily asleep before that night. And this marriage night for you will be the same kind of a night, which is forerunning man's mischief. Fare you well, wisdom begins at the end. Remember it. Which means you will figure out that you were wrong, but only that will be too late. And then the two get married. There's a lot to be discussed in Duchess and Ferdinand dialogue. Do you have anything to say? It's been 1.5 hours now. We can continue this tomorrow, inshallah. Less than a minute left. Do you have anything to say?
No, ma'am, ऐसे सारा समझ आ गया.
Anyone else?